Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Discord, we got Josh.
Hey,
Quite a lot of non-main roster stuff. We had AAA's TripleMania last weekend. We got NXT Heatwave coming up, but we've also got some important news off of the main roster that I want to make sure we don't run out of time for. So we're going to talk about up first. Naomi, after not being medically cleared last week to defend her title against Io Sky, comes out this week on Raw and announces that it was because she is pregnant and vacates the title.
first off, congratulations to to her and Jimmy, and I hope that the baby's born healthy and all that. Uh, I hope that they give her a type of run when she comes back that they did for Becky when Becky was champion and and had to end her title reign with a pregnancy.
Yeah, it's kind of the best news. I guess when, you hear not medically cleared to compete, and although the rumors are swirling and stuff, you still think it could be, the worst, but it's positive news. Great for them, as you said, congratulations. A little bad timing in the WWE sphere, just because of the push she was getting. The crowd was there. Just cashed in. All of the chips were in Naomi's corner. And so a little sad to see that cut short, but obviously happy for the couple for sure.
Yeah, and one of the worst things is that this really screws over Stephanie Vaquer. Um, she was set to have a major match on a pay-per-view, despite the fact that she's barely been seen since winning the match in the first place, um, to show off what she can do to give her maybe some motivation, momentum towards maybe a potential like a Rumble win or something in a few months. And that match has been completely canceled, and we don't know what they're going to do with the title now.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, I would like to think that Stephanie would be involved in whatever they do end up for the title, whether that's, some sort of tournament winner faces Stephanie, I don't know. But with regards to Clash in Paris, it does appear as though we have moved on from that, at least with the Women's World title. We could see more next week that maybe announces what's going to end up replacing that, but yeah, hopefully they don't forget entirely about Stephanie. She did earn that match, and maybe spinning out of this, depending on where they want to go, she could pick up the vacant title if they don't have any other plans in the short term, and let her run with it for a little while before whatever they were going to do down the line.
Yeah, the only thing I hope is that it's not Becky that wins it. I've seen people like suggesting it, and I'm like, I don't want to see that. Becky already has a title. She doesn't need the other one.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, yeah, the title should stay separate from its mid-card title. Becky's doing great elevating that one. We don't need to reset to default with Naomi's vacancy. There's a bunch of cool routes you can go, and I hope WWE do go in one of those cool routes and not the break glass in case of emergency option.
Well, the break glass in case of emergency options almost certainly would be Rhea Ripley at
That's
this
true.
point.
True, when it does come to that Women's World Heavyweight Championship, it is more often than not around her waist. I want to look a little bit over to AAA TripleMania on the side of the song, specifically the WWE involvement. We knew going into it, Los Garza were the AAA World Tag Team Champions. We'd picked them, I think both of us picked them to retain and continue this going for a little bit longer, but Pagano and Psycho Clown coming out on top, defeating Los Garza and walking away with those titles.
Just from the highlights that I watched, it was like an insane match. That's the most that Los Garza has been able to do in like 4 years. And I wish that was hyperbole. They're a good team. I liked this stuff from Pagano and Psycho Clown, and I'll be interested in seeing like if maybe they show up on the Worlds Collide that they're going to be doing here in a few weeks. Uh, as maybe defending the titles against another team or something.
Yeah, I think the reason we were so behind Los Garza continuing with those titles is just because that SmackDown Tag Team division is so stacked that this did give them something unique to do, something they could continue to show what they've got, right? You said this was, with these titles, it was kind of the most we've seen out of them. They're, they're doing their thing, but I don't know. AAA Los Garza definitely putting on better performances than SmackDown Los Garza. I don't know if it's to do with the style of their opponents. I don't know whether it's to do with the time that they're given or the storylines. We do know there are so many top tier tag teams on SmackDown. Maybe they need to move over to Raw after this, try and revitalize that side of things. But hopefully good things in the future for Los Garza, and this isn't just, the end of their good run for them. Talking about tag teams, specifically talking about Raw tag teams, we had a mixed trios match as well. The Judgment Day, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Raquel Rodriguez going up against Mr. Iguana, Nino Hamburguesa, and Lola Vice, with the Judgment Day coming out on top. Iguana taking a loss.
Yeah, that was a fun match. And did anybody have a demon puppet on their bingo card? Because if you did, you just got a bingo.
It makes perfect sense, but I did not be expecting it at all prior to this match. And it's an interesting one, right? Because we do continue to show Mr. Iguana so much onto the main roster. Obviously, Judgment Day did pick up the win here, but then if we flick on over to Raw, Finn Balor, JD McDonough were defending. Sorry, I don't think the titles are on the line, but they were going against Mr. Iguana and Dragon Lee as well. I don't think, he's fully on the main roster, but they really are trying to get as much out of Iguana while the fans are behind the guy, and we do keep seeing more and more from him. And he is slightly tied into the Judgment Day now, especially with all the stuff that we'll talk about in the next match as well with Dominic Mysterio. But is there a chance that maybe Iguana takes, with some sort of partner, takes the titles off of Balor and McDonough?
Probably not, because I don't think WWE's going to want to do that. I think that they're building Mr. Iguana's overall stardom, so that what we'll talk about here in a minute, that I think is going to happen in 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Is I think they're building him to be the guy that maybe is the guy that they want to be the champion, the main champion. And I think they're building him as an overall star so that people know who he is and will be behind him when that moment happens.
Mm-hmm. You'll have to wait and see. Obviously, what we're alluding to is that AAA Mega Championship. It was a fatal four-way match at TripleMania. Vikingo defending against Dominic Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and El Grande Americano. It was almost in the hands of Dominic Mysterio, but AJ Styles flies all the way over just to screw with his champion that he is challenging. So Vikingo did manage to clutch onto the title and was sitting pretty for a couple of days before a rematch between Vikingo and Dominic gets announced for that Worlds Collide event in September.
Yeah. And I think that's where I think Dominic wins the title there, by the way. Can I say the biggest thing that I was shocked by, and keep in mind, I only watched the highlight video that WWE did on the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
But I was shocked that the guy that they had in the match that was from the company. The other 3 guys are all from WWE, right? The fans hated their guy. And I could not believe that.
Yeah, I've done some digging around afterwards, and I think it has to do with a certain former WWE wrestler who he took the title off of It seems in Mexico they really loved that guy, and they're looking down on Vikingo as he was the one who ended that title reign, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, because they knew because it immediately happened right after the WWE deal happened.
Yeah.
So it made him look more like a corporate stooge, I guess, for lack of a
Yeah.
better term. Um, but this reminds me so much of the mid 2000s, early 2000 or mid 2010s, early 2010s Roman Reigns, and the way the fans just absolutely crapped on him when he didn't deserve it. Um, I kind of so that's why, and there were rumors saying that there were people within WWE that were thinking Grande should win the title in this match. There were other people that were saying no, it should be Dominic. I think those people are going to be the ones that are going to win out at Worlds Collide. I think Dominic will win. He'll have both the Intercontinental title because I don't see him losing to AJ. Sorry, AJ. And the AAA, and he'll have both of them on Raw every week. And in a couple months, they'll probably do one of their special versions of the TripleMania show. Because they do like multiple ones every year.
Yeah.
From what I can tell. And that's when Iguana wins the title to bring it back to AAA.
Yeah, I do. I do think I could see people pivot. Like, when you look at the Roman Reigns stuff that you compared this to, you do have to pivot. You can't just keep your foot down and hope that the crowd comes around. And I know that. Well, I don't actually. I don't know what the American crowd's reaction to Vikingo is. My understanding is that it is generally positive. Versus, I guess, the home crowd, the Mexican crowd, preferring anybody except Vikingo. And so I could see WWE wanting to pivot away just for a little while, take the title off of him, put it on Dominic Mysterio. I think it'll be an interesting position because Dominic's already starting to get cheers from the WWE main roster audience from time to time, even though he continues to be slimy. The Mexican crowd likes him because his last name's Mysterio. And so I don't really know what kind of champion he would end up being, but if you were to tell me, AAA Mega Champion Dominic Mysterio, I would believe it. If you said AAA Mega Champion El Grande Americano, as much as I think he's over, I don't know if he is the guy to hold that championship. And you say, but bit of cool parallels or corporate synergy for Dominic to be holding both titles at the same time could definitely look cool, and I would all be down for it at Worlds Collide if Dominic did manage to pick up the title. Maybe we could work on Vikingo's sort of appearance and not his physical appearance, but his character, and see what we can do to turn the Mexican crowd around. Well, it is roughly halfway through the show. That means it is time to go on to our entrance theme of the week, and this week it is none other than Naomi.
You better watch out. You better watch out.
And you're back to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh. We've got NXT Heatwave coming up this weekend. Let's just crack into these matches because we've got 6 of them announced at the time of recording. Jordy and Grace going up against Blake Monroe. It is a blood feud, but we're having a singles match.
Again, I think it's something we've said before when we were talking about this. It's one of those things where it just doesn't feel like it's the end of this situation.
Yeah.
Because as personal as it's been, a regular singles match just doesn't feel like it's going to deal with it. So I think what happens here is I think one of two things happens. Either Jordan Grace gets disqualified because she just loses it, or Blake Monroe wins via some really dirty way.
I could definitely see those options. I agree. There was a chance that they would be one and done with regards to matches for this feud, especially if they were going to be moving Grace up, but announcing it as a singles match for me just completely locks in that this is going to have more than one match. If you'd announced this as Last Woman Standing or something that had a bit more stipulation to it, maybe they were just going to do one big spectacle and move on, but nah, not as a singles match. This ain't it. There's more.
Yeah, definitely.
NXT Tag Team Championship also on the line. Hank and Tank defending against a couple of members from Dark State.
Yeah, at this point I have no idea what they're doing with Hank and Tank. And this whole Dark Slate faction thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have no idea what they're doing with Dark State, so I think this match is just shrouded in a whole lot of I have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. As I said, I've loved Hank and Tank. I think they're fantastic entertainers. Something just deep down tells me this is the end of the line for them. I don't know why. And I have no idea which two of these four are going to end up being the champions, but I just something nagging at me.
No, that's fair. I got the same sort of feeling, right? You look at it, they're obviously investing a lot in Dark State. They have had them interfering on TNA, on NXT, messing up big high-profile main event matches, and it does feel like with that amount of showcase that giving them the titles would make sense. Whether it's permanently two members, you pick a couple of the members, let's say Lennox and Griffin, that hold the titles forever, or whether they end up freebirding them around and switching which of the four end up defending them. I could definitely see that being a tactic to hold on to the titles to Dark State a little bit longer, but I don't know, this one is just, as I said, shrouded in a whole lot of I don't really know what they're doing with the 6 people in this match, but maybe after this we will. It's not the only championship on the line. TNA Knockouts World Championship also on the line. Double champ JC Jane walks in with it. Marsha Slamovich wants it back, and Ash by Elegance, formerly known as Dana Brooke, also wants a shot at it.
Again, I think we can almost repeat what we just said. Almost word for word. I have no idea what they're doing with this this double champion situation. But in this case, I don't think Jane loses. But then again, we thought she was losing the title, the NXT Championship, to Marsha Slamovich at Bound for Glory.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
the last TNA Big Show. I think it's an interesting one because you're right. I didn't expect JC to be holding this title. There's another match straight after this one we'll talk about that's going to determine her next number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. She doesn't need the Knockouts title. I don't know what the crossover here with TNA is for. I feel like by making it a triple threat match, Ash by Elegance is in here to take the fall. Whether that is Marsha pins Ash, gets the title back to TNA, and we never have to have her defeat the NXT Women's Champion, possibility, or whether it's JC ends up picking up a sneaky win. Marsha beats up Ash, and then JC runs in, throws Marsha out of the ring, and steals the pinfall. Also an option, and then you do have still the Jane Slamovich rematch, one-on-one. It all depends on what this crossover was meant to be doing. I kind of understood the men's crossover for the most part, where, trading the guy over, he's doing feuds over there. The double champ stuff, I'm never a big fan of. And it's even more confusing when it's two different companies' titles. And now we've got, we're defending the TNA title on NXT, and we're not really defending the NXT title on TNA a whole hell of a lot either. So I don't know. If I had to guess, just so it made sense, I'm gonna reset and I'm gonna put the title back on Marsha, just so that we're back to how we were a month ago, and I don't have to think about how JC Jane's a double champ.
Unfortunately, I'm not. I think I'm going to anger you then.
Yeah, you're clearly going to pick a Jane retention.
Yeah, I'm taking Jane retention because I think that she holds the title until Bound for Glory. I think that's when she loses the title, and probably that's when Trick Williams loses the TNA title.
That is fair. Well, one of the questions that we will know the answer to, where are they heading from this weekend, is that number one contendership NXT Women's title. Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice. Where do you think that one's falling? Who will be JC Jane's next opponent?
Kalani Jordan.
That was a quick answer.
Yeah. I think she's the best person in that match, and I think she'll give the best match with JC Jane. Plus, they have a history, so it kind of makes sense.
Entirely fair. Well, let's just move on. Let's just go to the mixed tag team match. On one side of things, it is Chelsea Green and Ethan Page. Then on the other side of things, it is Tavian Heights and Tyra May Steele from WWE LFG.
Some of the best stuff on NXT the last month have been the Canadians, case Chelsea Green and Ethan Page. I am absolutely loving anything that they are doing. So I'm sorry, LFG, but you're getting run over by a steamroller here, in my opinion.
No, that's entirely fair. I think there's a benefit of Ethan Page obviously being on one side. I think he brings a lot of credibility to that side. If we look at Chelsea Green and her Secret Hervis from the main roster, they are kind of getting themselves into a feud with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss over the titles. She's obviously not an NXT star though, so I don't know if she's going to hang down here for a whole time, but I think they might want to put a bit of steam behind Tyra and Tavian. Tavian splitting off from Dempsey and Tyra coming in from LFG. Will it be at the expense of Green and Page? I could definitely see it being at the expense of Green, so maybe Tyra defeats Green. But I know that, you know, when main roster people come down, they do often get protected as well. So, bit of a toss-up on this one, really. What do they want to promote going forward? But the star power's on the Green and Page side for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there for a second. Anybody other than Chelsea Green, that's what you just said is true. Chelsea Green's the one person who will be more than happy to make themselves look like a complete fool and put somebody over in NXT.
You are true.
So that is why I have to stop there. Because she has that mentality. She will work. She doesn't care what her position is, what she's doing. She's on TV. She's making people emote. So that is something I have to say.
It's fair enough. You're still picking them to win?
I'm still picking them to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if she takes the fall.
All right. I'll play devil's here. I'll go Steel Pins Green and picks up the win for her team. Lastly, we got the NXT Championship, Obafemi. We continue to say who will take the title off him, who will be built up to be the one who does it. And this week on NXT, it was Javon Evans that punched his ticket to Heatwave for that one-on-one. Will it be Javon?
Yes, because that's what I've said this entire time since March, that it would be Javon Evans. Especially since the match he had with Randy Orton. I'm just a little surprised it's Heatwave, but I think it's time. I think it's time Oba drops the title, and there's nobody hotter in NXT that's an NXT wrestler that I think could take the title from him. So yes, I think it's Javon Evans winning the title.
There you go. I am not as sold. I don't know. I can never bet against Obafemi. If I took his side every time he had a championship match, I would be a rich man. And I don't want to stop now. I know there will come a time where he does take a loss and he does lose that NXT championship, but is it Heatwave? Is it this month? I don't know. Is he due up onto the main roster? Is he going to continue to do stuff on NXT? I don't know. But right now, at least for the next 2 days, he is the ruler of NXT, and I'm going to side with him when it comes to this championship defense. Alrighty, well, that is pretty much time. We have run out of it. It has been great talking to you.
Bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling R&D up, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestling RND up, or you can go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/wrestling RND up, and we'll catch you next week when we take a look at Clash in Paris.